How you guys doing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, where I go and look at low plays and strategies specifically designed for GPPs. This is a show for people who are already informed on daily fantasy sports and how these contests operate. If you have a question related to NASCAR, is a stupid question, feel free to shoot them away on Twitter, Brandon Cruz DFS. Most importantly, take everything here with a grain of salt and use your best judgment when making entries. Additionally, if you have a gambling addiction, that's just not my problem. Check your sense of feelings at the door. We're talking about the Xfinity Series at New Hampshire. That's pretty much it. Everybody already knows I hate New Hampshire. Looking at, we're kind of going to, so entering this week, I think it's really important to see the distribution of fast laps and laps led between the Xfinity Series field at tracks that are flat or at tracks that race more like a short track. And so when I'm looking at that, I'm looking at Phoenix, I'm looking at Martinsville, I'm looking at the road courses, because a lot of it's going to translate here. Specifically, I think Martinsville and Phoenix are going to be really telling, especially for the Xfinity Series, because a lot of stuff doesn't change. Unlike the Cup Series, to where teams can kind of make leaps and bounds, like everybody's kind of landlocked into where they're going to start and finish and where their team is in terms of how good they are. And so when you're looking at Phoenix, Austin Cindric with 51 Dominator points. At Phoenix, Daniel Hemrick 16, Justin Allgaier 23. When you compare that to Martinsville, obviously, Josh Berry, I'm interested in Josh Berry as well, but I'm focusing more. I think the main dominator is going to be coming from the top 5 positions. And so Josh Berry is obviously popping up at Martinsville, but you got Cindric, you got Hemrick, you got Gibbs. Obviously, he's not in there. Noah Gragson, Harrison Burton. But Gragson was more because he got the lead. Harrison Burton did run some fast laps there. Moving on to the road courses, who is popping off? Like, who is the guy who is leading at Road America? Who's really running away with Road America? It's guys like Austin Cindric again, Daniel Hemrick, Justin Allgaier. It's those guys popping off again. Okay, well, what if we look at, oh my God, I just went blank. Mid-Ohio. I was like, I couldn't remember what this stupid track was called. You got Cindric. Hemrick didn't get any fast laps or dominator points there, but then it pops off to A.J. Allmendinger and Ty Gibbs. And so who's the names that we keep seeing pop off in the situation? Where it's Austin Cindric, Daniel Hemrick, and Justin Allgaier. I think those are the 3 that need to be considered first in terms of laps led. So let me get this going. Sorry. So when we're ranking everybody here, not interested in the guys starting first through third. I like Cindric the most right now. I like Justin Allgaier second. And they're both A's for me. And then I like A.J. Allmendinger fourth right there with Daniel Hemrick third. So that's where we're at there, because I don't think Hemrick's going to get a ton of laps led or fast laps here, but he should have the 5th best car. He's going to get there on place differential. I think he's underpriced. I think you need 2 of these guys in the line for the optimal. I really do. And so it's either going to be Cindric and one of these guys in terms of them leading, or I think it's going to be one of these 3 and Daniel Hemrick. That's just where I think the optimal lineup is going to go this week. Don't like Moffitt starting too high up. Not interested in Clements. Not interested in Sam Mayer. Harrison Burton, slightly in there. Slightly in contention. Not a big fan. Don't like Sieg. Don't like Herbst. And so what is this really looking like? Well, it seems like a week to where, like I said, it's going to be one of these 2 guys and then just pure place differential plays in the back. Depending how many fast laps and laps led Christopher Bell can get in there, he needs to be considered, but I think no matter what he scores, he's going to be a lot closer to like a 5.2, 5.3 value than like a 6x value. And why am I going to pay 11.5 for a guy that I think are going to, why would I pay 11.5 when I can pay 9.8 for Hemrick, where I think these are the same play? If anything, that's going to bump my Christopher Bell interest down a lot more, but just based on projections, I got him projected for a B. Don't like LeBay. Snyder, keep in there, consider him, see how it goes. I like Martins. I like Buford in the 9K range, or in the 9K range, in the 5K range. If I had to rank who do I like more here, it'd probably be Buford, and then Tommy Joe Martin's between the two, but that's where we're at right now. Ryan Vargas is going to be a no for me. Can't believe he finished well at Atlanta. You hate to see it. Get out of here, Vargas. The day that you leave is the day that I can celebrate you not being in the series. Don't mind Josh Williams. Barry, I think is a smash play. I really do. This is very similar to Martinsville. So going back up here, I think it's two of these guys in your optimal. If it's not, I got a good feeling it's one of these four. So Cindric, Allgaier, Allmendinger, Hemrick, and then Josh Berry. Because I think Josh Berry can lead laps in this race. I think he has a good chance of finishing 6th in this race. Who would have thunk it? Dude thought his season was done. He had to start racing for bums, and then Annette gets a leg amputated, and he gets in there. So good for Barry. At least he's back in there. But we'll see. Brandon Brown, not going to do it for me when I can pay for Tommy Joe Martins, who I think Buford's sketchy. Like I have more interest in Buford because I think this is a track that can help him out with his road course. Martins is a lot safer. And I would just rather play Martins over Josh Berry. I know they're not in the same price range, but that's where we're at right now. Jones is barely going to hit value for me. So same thing with Bell and Jones. I just don't see much from their upside. I would much rather pay for Berry. I'd much rather go for laps led versus going for Bell or Jones here. Patrick, for whatever reason, basically just seems to wreck everywhere he goes. I know he's won this year in the Modified Tour. I just don't really care. Personally not interested in Patrick for our motorsports. That's where we're at right now. He'll probably get wrecked at some point. That's just how it's going to be. And so when it gets to Mills, Little, Massey, I know they're cheap, but I got right now I got Mills projected for 11 points. I got Little projected for 10. I got Massey projected for 9. I don't see it from this group of drivers. I just don't see it. Joe Graf Jr. might be there. I got him just under 5x value, but Joe Graf Jr. can work if Jade struggles, if Tommy Joe has issues, and I think it would fall to Joe Graf Jr. And guys like that. I'm not going to do Castle. I like Brandon. Don't mind him. Jordan Anderson, I don't have him hitting 5x value. I still don't believe in Jordan Anderson. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. Kyle Weatherman. So same thing that I just said with Joe Graf Jr. It depends on what Martins and Jay do, and then it depends on if Weatherman can actually stay there. Bailey Currey is starting 35th, but he's not in the DraftKings pool as of this moment when I'm recording. Let me make sure if they updated it. Yeah, Bailey Currey is still not in the DraftKings projections, and so right now I can't give it to you. I got no projection because right now I can't project somebody who's not in there without knowing their price. So that's where we're at there. JJ Yaley, I think is a really good play. JJ in this car, this is where I want to play JJ. We've seen him do extremely well in the Rick Ware car, and he's starting dead last. I think he's underpriced at $8,400. I like JJ. I don't mind at all. Dexter Bean's going to be a no for me. I think it's going to be a no for me for Starr and CJ and even Boyd. I know Boyd is with Jimmy Means this week, but it's still the same car. I don't see much from that. Maybe consider Spencer Boyd if you need the 5K range, but I would honestly rather play Joe Graf Jr. over Spencer Boyd. I mean, maybe I got to bump him up, but I'm giving Spencer Boyd 30th. You know, I don't see it from him to do much. That's just how it is. And so I think it's going to be not chalky per se at the bottom, but the 5K range, like the only guys you can use is Boyd, Weatherman, probably Curry because he'll be in there, Graf, and then Jade and Martins. I know I just mentioned 5 of the guys in the 5K range, but I think that's where the chalk is going to be. I think the place to get different in your lineups is what to do with these guys. If I had to guess in terms of guys that I actually want to target, it's probably Cindric. Allgaier might not work based on his price, so then I would refer to Allmendinger, and I'm just putting a 1 there to indicate, the guys, not necessarily, they're the best play, just so you can kind of highlight them. So it seems like Hemrick, it seems like AJ, it seems like Cindric, and so it seems like 1 or 2 of these guys, and then probably Barry. So we'll do this. Yeah, so probably 1 or 2 of these guys. I would think Barry's going to be in there. And then, man, the 5K range, I think that's where you got to hit it. That's where it's going to be interesting. And if you put JJ in there. And so JJ, Barry, 1 of these guys or 2 of these guys, I think that's the way that the optimal is going to go right now. And that's what I'm seeing right now in my projections on some of the lineups that I've ran. We just got to see. I'm really curious to see what other guys are going to say for this. This is a week where I'm really curious to see where ownership's going to go, because I want to maybe not entirely get different, but I think you play Weatherman based on, I think, how the car is going to perform. I think Graf is an interesting play. I don't know if people are going to go to him. And then it seems like if Tommy can just stay up in the top 20, he'll be optimal. Maybe Jade shows up. I think the 5K range is where the interesting part of this slate's going to be. I really do. Once you figure out who's going to lead laps and get fast laps after that. So hopefully this kind of helps you out or give you an idea of where I'm going or what I want to do. If you want to support the channel, Patreon is you can follow the link up below, or you can find the link in the description. I also have PayPal in the description. And yeah, thank you for watching me. That's basically it. Thank you. Hopefully this helps you out.